mentioned that we're living in interesting times, and a lot of soul groups or core groups are coming down to this earth right now. Could you say a little bit about what's coming in the next 10 or 20 years?
Okay.
Because with AI, with the climate
Yeah.
change, and there's just so much going on right
Yeah.
now.
So, as this is Aralamb. So, as Melissa would say, right now on the planet, it seems like the wheels are coming off everywhere, meaning that all of the old structure seems to be falling in on itself, and people, the souls at the top, are sort of grappling for power, and everyone's trying to get their piece of the pie as it's falling. So, but what is happening on the timeline? Firstly, I would say, and I try to say this whenever we're speaking with large numbers of people, and that is that the timeline has been tipped now in such a way that absolutely 99% of humanity is meant to make this jump. There was a time, even 6 or 8 months ago, when I couldn't definitively say absolutely the Earth planet and all of its inhabitants are going to make it to this next place universally, right? That we're going to make it past this place. But now that tipping point has happened. So that's really good news. Secondarily, in the next 10 to 30 years, everything is going to begin changing very, very quickly. And I think I said this on our last meeting, Yannicka, but about 10 years from now, where we sit now, there will be 3 off-world species, 2 of which are going to be from Pleiades. They'll be on the planet, and it won't be mysterious. They'll be here. They will not be taking over the world. They will not be subjugating humanity. They have been in the outer skirts of the energetic field for some time now. They finally are going to be at the point where they're coming in. They are going to transform very quickly medicine, politics, policy, the environment, how energy is used on the planet, how water is cleaned, how food is grown. They're going to completely transform all of the ways that humans live. Now, it's going to be fast, and it is not going to be fully AI. That is not going to come to pass fully. There are powers on the planet right now that want that to happen. The reason they want that to happen is because they want there to be this control grid. Already humanity lives under such a control grid, but that is even breaking down. The one thing that I do believe will probably happen is that the monetary system is going to change, but that is not going to be as detrimental as humanity is feeling like it is, because just about the time that happens, all of the good things will start happening. Think about free energy. Think about electrical lines going down, very minimal oil use. It won't be that everything will be taken from you. If you have a car that burns gasoline, you'll still be able to keep that car, but there will be other options that are literally free energy, not batteries, not solar, but free, think Nikola Tesla style energy for everyone on the planet. And so when that starts happening, then the paradigms will change. And right now, what's happening, Yannicka, is that many of the highest level nefarious players that have been in power for so long on this planet, many of them have left the planet. Many of them now are on a timeline. They've been given a timeline. You must leave the planet by this time. And you can already see that they have dropped out of sight. You can already start to see where people are sort of dropping out of sight. And you wonder, what's going on with that? This is what's happening. This is what's happening. But 99% of humanity is meant to make it. And it isn't going to be simple, perfect, but it's not going to be Armageddon in the style of the New Testament. It isn't going to be annihilation. It isn't going to be. Now, the other issue around this, and I believe that we mentioned this before, there's something called the Looking Glass Project. This is it's valid. It's not just conspiracy theory. And so what had happened was some alien tech was found, which has the ability to look forward on timelines. And what it actually was the drive in a space vessel. So the drive in the space vessel could move the space vessel to a specific time and place in the universe, right? So, but by doing that, you could also be looking forward and backward. So the powers that be on the planet got a hold of that technology, and they started trying to manipulate the timeline for themselves. And that has not worked. The Creator God is not allowing that. So every time they try to shift the timeline, it goes right back to the timeline where humanity makes this jump positively. And so that is happening. But it is also, because it's going back and forth, it's adding to this feeling that all souls are having, including Melissa on some days, this feeling of being pushed and pulled, pushed and pulled, pushed and pulled. And it's confusing. It's confusing for souls, but the whole of Earth is moving in the right direction.
So is it safe to say that aliens will come to save us?
Well, so Aralamb raises his hand. I don't like saying that they're saving humanity. What they're going to do is what a good guidance counselor does. It's not about saving humanity. Humanity is going to do the saving themselves, but they are going to come in with a sort of a toolbox to say, listen, here this is. And what they are also going to do, because they're going to want humanity to begin to produce these new items, to begin to produce the new way to grow food, to do all of this. Humanity is going to learn to do this. And this is another reason why people circling all the way back around, there are hundreds of thousands of souls on the planet now who do not know it, but will be working with these off-world species to change over all of these systems on all different levels. If any one of those people leaves the lifetime early, they will be missing what they're supposed to be doing at this phenomenal time of change.
But it seems like we need them.
We do.
Right.
You do. You need them because it's the time now in Earth's timeline. Earth can no longer stay suspended in this energy level. It's the universe is pulling everything up. It's the universe growing. It's what's meant to happen. And so Earth has to grow up with it. And Earth and all of the souls living on Earth have to understand who they are in the galaxy, who they are in the universe. They have to understand that they need the planet, that there are ways to live very prosperously on a planet that do not destroy the planet or themselves or animals or any of that. So there's just a more symbiotic way to live. And these off-world species are already living in this way. Also, space travel will become a thing that looks nothing like what your governments have told you space travel is. Because getting on a rocket and flying for 5 years to Mars is not how off-world species travel at all. They fold time space or they travel through time space, one or the other. They don't get on a ship and fly for 20,000 years. That isn't what they do.
Do you have a couple of more minutes, Melissa, or do you have to go?
Sure.
Okay. I just want to ask you, time travel, is it possible and will it be possible?
So this is Aralamb. Aralamb raises his hand. So time travel is possible, but there are fail-safes in the process of this that would stop you from that feared going back in time and murdering your grandfather. There are processes where if you're going back in time, you can only go back and watch. You cannot be in it.
All right.
If you want to go into the future, you can become more interactive with the future. You could interact with your own grandchild at some point, but you cannot do anything. You will physically not be able to do anything to change their timeline. So time travel in that sense, the sense you're talking about, that sense of time travel, that level of it, it is allowable, but it's as if it's only allowable for educational purposes. And this is where the powers that be on your planet are getting into trouble with this device that they found. The device that they found is by all means a time travel device, but how this works is it allows you to travel to any time space in the universe. So what this means is this: if you're on your planet Earth and you wanted to travel to a planet without this device that was 400 light years away, it would take you 1,000 years to get there. So in a way, you're traveling 1,000 years into Earth's future if you actually got on a ship and did that. The piece of equipment they have attached to a space-bearing vessel, it calculates the time space where that planet is, and you immediately are there. You're here, you disappear here, and you're there. But 1,000 years did not traverse on Earth, right? And then 24 hours for your body in that vessel later, you could do the same and come right back, and you'd be a day later, just as if you were flying somewhere. But those are two different kinds of time travel. The one is the kind that you're talking about, where you would travel back to Egypt to see what was happening on Earth's timeline, right? Because time isn't really a line anyway. Time is not really something that moves forward in a straight line. Time is happening everywhere, all the time, simultaneously. It's why Melissa will often say to me when I wake her up at 3 in the morning to introduce her to someone's guide, she'll say, why do you have to do this in the middle of the night? And I say to her, honestly, there's no time for me here. The lobby, there's no time at all. You just are. You just are. It's always right now. So
Yeah,
yes.
hustling for the mind. And at the same time, we're living in exciting times.
Yes, we absolutely are. This is Melissa speaking now. And that's why, some of what, and it's interesting because Aralamb always says to people too, take any part of any of this that speaks to you and then use it positively in your life. Like, this isn't to proselytize. It isn't to convince anyone. It's truly, at this point on our planet, it's just that we all need to start understanding we do have a soul. Because, and Aralamb always says, even if you are a stone cold, I'm saying this, but he'll say, if you're a stone cold atheist and you say, look, I am an organism with a conscious chemical brain, and when I die, I literally am gone. It is blackness, and my body rots away in the ground, and that is all there is. He says, even those people are always, they're shocked because their soul, their personality, who they are, travels over to the other side, and they show up in the lobby and they're like, oh man, that's not how I want, I didn't want this to go. Oh, okay. Like, they're shocked, but then they go, oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Oh boy, like, and so it's not, no one's ever forced to do anything. No one's ever forced to do anything. And that's the beautiful thing about it, because if you start making good decisions for yourself, that's what you're doing. And every good decision you make for you affects ripples everywhere around you. And I know that sounds cliche, but from an energy standpoint, oh my gosh. I mean, if I had decided, like Aralamb said, to just be an accountant and just be like, I'm sorry, I know I feel compelled to do this, but I'm never doing any of this. Well, then you and I wouldn't be talking. And maybe 100 people wouldn't hear some piece of this information and go, you know what? I'm going to at least start waking up in the morning and thinking, what does my soul feel like I should be doing? Right? How should I be treating my body? I mean, how should I be treating my kids? How should I be treating, how should we be to each other? I mean, it's just in the simplest form. It's just, some of it's just really good news.
To watch the full video, click the link below, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.